So how's everybody's day going? Everybody's fine?
Yes, sir.
We could do the video as well, right?
That's a more complicated process. You'd have to bring your own SD card, and the camera is currently outside.
And a haircut.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
So if you want me to help you set up for a recorded show
Yeah.
next week, I can help you do that.
Yeah, that's fine. But I don't want you to miss too much class, bro, to be honest.
Oh, you got class now?
Well, she's going over a review for a test. She's not actually reviewing.
It should be there for that.
She's going over the review sheets that she put online. It's not like she's adding anything.
You just look at it yourself. It's kind of like money and finance.
She's
right?
like, do this, and then she's on her phone. I don't respect that. That's not teaching.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I agree. So how's the experience, man, with Hunter? What do you guys think about Hunter?
I'm not too thrilled, but I'm already here.
I mean, I'm appreciative, to be honest, just to have, a place where I could come, study, meet cool people, network,
Oh, no, the people are great. Most of the professors that I've had are caring, but the facilities, except for the the library,
They could use some improvement.
Yeah,
Of course, bro. Like any one of us, to be honest. It's like, it's not perfect, but to be honest, I went to BMCC, bro. So if you compare BMCC and Hunter, we're all golden here compared to BMCC, bro.
That's true. Make sure the microphone's like a fist away from your face. This one's yours.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, like from my experience from going to a community college to coming to Hunter, just like how intellectual the students are in comparison to BMCC, is just, there's no comparison, to be honest. Like, I don't mean to downgrade BMCC. Like, shout out to BMCC. Like, they helped me get to where I am now, and like I value the education I got there. But just to say a little bit, like, they could use a little more improvement at Hunter.
In terms of what facilities, staff.
It's just too many students for the amount. Like, yeah, they need more staff, and like, to be honest, the classrooms, they're way larger, even though here they're large as well. But in terms of like, it's like an extension to high school, if you ask me. Like,
Hunter or BMCC?
BMCC.
Oh.
And like, there's a lot of fooling around, and people don't take it as serious as they should. But nonetheless, I feel like it's a good, platform to like get you to the next level.
BMCC?
Yeah.
I mean, it's good for what it is,
I agree.
right? It's a budget school. It's for people who can't necessarily afford the 4-year right off the bat.
Yeah.
And it's also providing you with some sort of accreditation for your time and your money.
Of course.
But I think the idea that 4-year schools are the only schools that are valid needs to stop being told to students in high school. Like, your education isn't, all that.
Welcome. Get in. Hop in.
All right. We got some new celebrities in the
We're
house.
talking about like.
You want to grab a chair?
Nice glasses, man.
Thanks, man.
Guess this show's being recorded live.
Yeah, live.
Might not be live when you hear it, but it's live now.
But yeah, so like just adding to what you were saying, and like some trade schools, like I know people who go to trade school and become electricians, and they make a decent living. So I agree with what you're saying. That notion that it shouldn't be only 4 years schools who should be like accredited or validated or validated or validation for your school.
I mean, definitely, that's more than one way to skin a cat. You need plumbers, you need, mechanics, you need people in trade fields. But as far as networking, college has been a great experience for me from that angle.
I feel like that's all college is, really. Networking.
That's
The
main
education
value.
and the skills that you don't learn what you need to know on the job site.
I agree.
I mean, we're talking about, like, one of my disappointments of Hunter. Like, I feel like a lot of the stuff I'm doing here is self-taught. Like, the professors barely point you in the right direction. But from there on, like, I feel like I'm teaching myself,
Yeah, that's the discussion we were having yesterday about our calc class.
Correct.
But like,
You told me people left crying.
yeah, multiple people were crying during the test. I know Davon
the
could
joys
talk a
of
little more
college.
about that. And just real quick, let's just each give an introduction of who we are and
No doubt.
some of our hobbies or something, so that we could let our audience know.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first? I'll start it off if you guys
Go
want.
ahead.
Yeah, you
So yeah, welcome to the show, guys. My name is Rad and Friends. We're gonna do this on a weekly basis. We're gonna be live from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Thank you guys for supporting, tuning in. I'm not even doing it, to be honest. I don't mean to sound egotistic or anything. I'm not really even doing it to build like a fan base. I'm just doing this to like have my children, my grandchildren, my great grandchildren, like be able to listen to what I had on my mind and just know like their ancestors. Basically, I'm just doing it just to basically have a record of my thoughts and stuff like
You're
that.
setting down your roots.
Basically, yeah. So like, and I also want my parents, like to set down their roots, so my grandkids can know a little more about them, and I don't want, to us to be forgotten, I want us to be remembered in a good light as well. So yeah, that's basically what I'm doing this for. I'm gonna pass it. Whoever wants to go next.
Go ahead.
My name is Julian Gonzalez. I'm a returning student. I guess one of the first guests of the show. So I'm just here to support Rad and Friends in its endeavor, and it's a fun time. Let's get it going.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate all of you guys.
What's up, everyone? My name is Davon. I'm here to support Rad too. We're in Calc together, as he just said. I'm currently here doing a post-bac pre-med program at Hunter, and it's been an interesting experience, and I'm just happy to have been invited today on this podcast and get into some things.
Yeah. Thank you
ready,
for coming,
man.
Davon. This guy's a genius. He
Nah,
doesn't take too much credit. He doesn't take too much credit for what he's doing. He got his degree in nursing. He went to nursing school. Now he's back. He wants to be a doctor. This guy inspires me, to be honest.
Davon, say hi to the Chinese community, man.
To who?
The Chinese
It's not Nima Hao, Nima Hao, nigga ring Nima Hao.
Get a round of applause for that. Okay.
What's up, guys? My name's Tyler. I'm here at Hunter studying economics. I really don't know what I really want to do in the future, but I figure might as well figure it out now. Might as well try to figure out what I'm going to do with my life. I'm here at the radio. I have a podcast. It's called the Don't We All Podcast. It's weekly on Fridays.
Tune in.
You're going to be on it tomorrow, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to be here tomorrow. And I would like to give a special thanks to Tyler because, to be honest, I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for him. Like, I met him in my money and banking, right?
Yeah.
Class, and it's a cool class, but like just the networking, just meeting him was very cool, and he's been very influential in the whole process. Like, he's actually been the one who's been steering me into doing this. Like it was just a preliminary thought like this summer, and Tyler made it happen for me. So thank you for that.
You made it happen yourself. All I did was get you the connections.
But I appreciate the connection, man.
Of course,
It's a big part.
Of course.
But we made it happen together, and thank you. I'm gonna be here to support you tomorrow, and I thank you for being here on my first day and helping me set up and everything. I appreciate all you guys. Thanks, man.
Of course.
No doubt.
Of course.
All right, so back to what we were talking. I mean, we don't have to go back there. We could talk about something else. It's up to you guys.
Well, what did you have in mind for this week?
I don't know. We were talking about we want to get into the real estate. You want to get into the nursing. What do you want to do? We have so much to talk about.
No, I felt like you have so much to talk about. I personally don't want to get into real estate, but you're in real estate.
Yeah.
I do really like real estate. I often look at homes in various cities throughout the country. I do like comparisons of like cost of living and just like try to get vibes of different cities and different neighborhoods. As you know, I don't plan on staying in New York forever, but I am here right now. So, really, I think real estate is a cool thing. And I think because you do it in New York, you have such a unique perspective of like the different boroughs and the different neighborhoods within the boroughs and essentially the communities of people there.
I agree.
So I thought that would be cool for you to just talk about on the podcast today.
Yeah, so like my experience with real estate has been, you have your ups and downs like any business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I first started with my first broker, I'm not gonna name it, for like confidentially. So like I'm not gonna name it for a different reason, I don't want to get sued, but like that was my first broker was a bad experience. Like I wasn't getting a lot of leads and there was a lot of competition. It was a big brokerage, but my new broker.
On the air.
But my new broker has been a great experience. Like I've seen apartments all over, like from Yonkers to Brooklyn to Bronx, and just like the evolution of the city. Like I was born and raised in Washington Heights. Shout out to Washington Heights.
You're still in Washington Heights?
Yeah, I'm still in Washington Heights, and I've seen how everything has been gentrified and how the prices are blooming. Like, and it's not even becoming affordable for your average person.
Yeah.
So like that worries me some, because coming from a minority community and I know that a lot of my people can't really afford the rent. And like it kind of sucks when I'm renting and like I can't get some of them approved because either they don't got the income or the credit requirements.
Yeah.
So that kind of bothers me a little bit, but
And it's so bizarre coming from, like I said, I'm not from New York, but coming to New York and getting my own apartment and things like that, they have these weird requirements where they want you to make 40 times what the rent costs in a month. And you think about the cost of living in New York. How many people are truly making 40 times what the rent costs in a year?
Yeah, and like if sometimes people have to settle for like, and like the sizes, like the landlords. I feel like, you know, not to talk bad about them because sometimes, you know, I get paid through the landlords and their properties, but it's just like for $1,700 you're getting a small 1-bedroom, like, and especially for people who coming out of state like yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you're not used to that small space.
No,
it might be.
not
it's
at
not
all.
comfortable for you guys.
For that money, you can get something way more comfortable in almost
Yeah.
any other city on the fucking country.
Any other city, bro. Like, that's why.
Granted, you really see this happening in a lot of major cities across the country. Like
Across
I
the
said,
globe as
DC
well.
has become so gentrified you can barely recognize the city anymore. But what makes New York so unique is that it's still like one of the most, I think maybe second to San Francisco. And like you just said, these apartments are like, when I lived in Spanish Harlem, I had a 425 square foot apartment that was a 1-bedroom apartment. So there was technically a bedroom and a living room, but together 425 square feet.
Wow.
That bedroom fit nothing but the bed. Like,
How much were you paying for that rent?
I think when I was there, I want to say 1925.
1925.
Yeah.
425 feet. And
Yeah,
that-
you know, because Spanish
and
Harlem
it's
was
more
getting
expensive now.
gentrified.
It's more expensive than that right now. It's over
I
like
know.
2,000, 2,100 for
You
the
know,
same
and
apartment.
the reason why I left was because right around when my lease ended, Amazon was still planning to come here.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Spanish Harlem would have been one of the first neighborhoods these new Amazon
'Cause it's
employees
new-
would have
it's
flocked
close
Right
to.
across the bridge.
Exactly. It's a little bit cheaper than the Upper East Side, and it's not far at all. So my landlord, they were trying to spike the rent again by like $200-300, and I was like, nah.
Yeah,
I'm a
that's
dead.
insane because some of the apartments are rent stabilized. So
Yeah.
people usually try to get into those units, but then the demand is so high
Mm-hmm.
that it's hard for people to get into the units. And there's other things I would like to talk about, but like since I'm in the business, I can't really talk about because it might affect my business.
Yeah.
But I'm glad because yesterday I received an email talking about Amazon. I'm in the second process of actually starting like my own, being a partner with Amazon and starting a logistic business with Amazon, opening a warehouse, and basically just I'm gonna be in charge of making sure their packages get delivered. They're gonna help me get the trucks, Amazon cars, basically to make because they're trying to improve on their delivery time. Right now, I
Right.
think they try to get 1-day shipping or 2-day shipping. They're trying to do same-day shipping all over the U.S. So they're building new warehouses, and they need people to oversee those warehouses. So right now I'm in the second process. I was actually going to tell you, you have some time. You know, I'm gonna write the resume. I'm gonna write everything, and you got some time. Any of you guys, just give me your intake or
Okay.
just basically give me some feedback on how I can better it, because
Okay.
that'd be a great contract to get, and be a
It's-
partner with
yeah.
Amazon. It's
I
like-
think I've read a little bit about Amazon kind of doing this where they're allowing people to really establish their own delivery companies.
Yeah.
In a sense, I think that's why FedEx cut their deal with Amazon because they're like, you're building my new competition. You know,
Yeah.
this is
Ex-employee
over.
of FedEx right here.
How was that experience?
It was good for the most part. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to hear. Yeah, so we all have like different experiences. We all come from different backgrounds, which I feel like is very influential for this podcast. We have different perspectives on things, and yeah, man. Like, anybody else want to talk about anything else?
I actually have a question about the Amazon deal that you're working on.
Okay.
So you'd be in charge of the warehouses and
Yeah, I'll
the
be-
last mile delivery?
I'll be in charge of everything that has to do with a warehouse. If I get approved, I applied for this, might have been like a year or two ago, and they finally hit me up for the second round of the applications,
Okay.
which supposedly is like 5% of the applicants, maybe less, get to the second part of the application.
So you're already like,
Yeah, so now I just gotta like submit everything and get everything to
are there
it.
requirements like super crazy?
To be honest, like I don't even want to talk about that because like I don't want to talk about the requirements and then they hear this or something and then
Yeah.
I got you.
it cuts off the deal,
Yeah.
So but
I won't state my personal opinions of Amazon
Yeah.
either to
Like, to be
make
honest,
sure you
like-
can secure your deal too.
I also invest in the stocks, as some of you guys may know, and
And pretty damn good at it too.
yeah, thank you, man. And so like
You'd be sitting in money in bank and looking at all your
Trading
charts.
stocks. But yeah, like to be honest, like I try to keep my personal beliefs away from business because I feel like I won't make smart business decisions if I just take into account my personal beliefs. And I just try to look at it from a business perspective, and I just want to make a profit. Sometimes I feel bad, like on certain like moral issues on things I invest. Like for example, now I'm investing into companies that profit off of the coronavirus, which sounds fucked up, but I see the opportunity, so I take it. You know.
Look, like I'm new, like brand new into the investing thing. Like only one trade so far. That being said, like I agree with. Yeah, thank God. I agree with Radimus about investment and kind of doing it in the moral way. But at the same time, I'm of the belief, like for example, let's use the same example of the coronavirus. If you invest in a company that's making profit from misery, that has a negative connotation. But if you're a person who's concerned about that, there's nothing wrong with making that money, taking some profit, and donating some of that profit to help the problem. In other words, if money is going to be made anyway, you might as well take some of the money and put it on the side of providing solutions for the people that need it.
Right.
As opposed to people who are just going to be greedy and just keep it and perpetuate the harm.
So I have a question for you guys. I mean, I have a little bit of stocks and things, but I don't think I invest nearly at the extent that you two may. With the rise of like Bernie Sanders, and you see this, there
we go.
With the like rise of Bernie Sanders and the increase of what I guess like people wanting more of a socialist kind of economy in society. How do you guys feel about that, especially as it comes to like minority equity and just growing wealth?
To be honest, like with the stock market, with Bernie, personally, I might vote for Bernie just for the simple fact that he's going to eliminate student loans. I mean, he might not, but that will help me out tremendously.
Yeah,
you know?
I think it'll help a lot of people out.
Especially my sister. She has like almost probably $500,000. Like shout out to my sister.
You know, that's the thing about. Sorry to interrupt you, but the higher education system, it's just so inequitable when it comes to minorities trying to lift themselves up, become educated, and propel themselves to other places in
Education
life.
is a business nowadays.
Same as like the modern day slavery. You gotta pay all this money, and then you're gonna owe all this money plus interest. You're gonna
It's
pay back
indentured
almost
slavery.
Isn't it insane?
The only fucking debt that you can't go bankrupt on.
Yeah.
They won't eliminate. Yeah. Then I'm
By the way, because Joe Biden was one of the people who voted
Sleepy Joe.
to not. I think I mean, I don't know if you like really want to discuss politics on the show.
No. I mean, I don't want to. I mean, we can.
I
don't
try to
care.
stay away from it, especially with you. Your business and everything. But I think it's so interesting the way Biden really got these votes in the Deep South, where a lot of the things he's voted for and implemented have like had the most negative impact on those communities.
Could you have them? Sorry, could you guys maybe try moving away from the mics a little bit? It's just clipping out here a little bit.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
So
That's
I think
technical support right there.
What do you think about Joe Biden just grabbing those votes down in the South the way he did? When you have someone like Bernie who's really trying to bring about economic justice, when you think about the South is where you really see like inequity just so proliferated. And they voted for a Democrat who has consistently supported these things that...
Could you elaborate a little more on what's going on? Because I'm not too aware of the issue.
Okay, more so just with Biden not necessarily... Oh, God, this
Having the most progressive views.
Exactly.
I think I can sort of answer your question. So, like, I think Biden did a really good job at not only motivating the classic Democrats, so to call, like the neoliberal Democrats who live in the South, who hold Republican views but want to brand it as the Democratic Party's beliefs.
Yeah.
So he really motivated that group of voters.
Do you consider them to be the party elites?
Yes.
Okay.
But in the same sense, I think Biden did a better job at playing the other side of the field than any other candidate. Meaning, I think he got a considerable percentage of Republican voters who were on the fence about Trump to begin with.
Do you But do you think that's something that we really need? And that we are now in the Trump era, guys. There's no going back to the Obama era. There's no going back to the way politics were before Trump. Do you really think someone like Biden is the right direction to go to be able to combat Trumpism and what Trump has become?
I don't think Biden, it's part of the old establishment. We
Exactly.
have a one party with two names, basically.
Yeah.
So Democrat Republican is the same party with two names.
I agree.
Now, with the Trump era, the only positive I see out of that is, if you
stocks.
buy a property and you want to rebuild, you have to demolish the old property before you can build a new property.
Right.
Trump, with all the things he's done that that people are up in arms about, he has helped demolish the establishment against himself and against the Democrats. So we have an opportunity to rebuild a new system on the ashes of what he has done. So what we, I'm not too young, but I guess we're speaking to a young audience. What this new generation needs to do is figure out what it is that they want, because you need to, if you are going somewhere, destination, you need to have a point of beginning and where you're going to end up. So you need to develop a vision of where you want to go and start working towards that with a clear, I guess, roadmap of how you're going to execute that. So
Do you
right
think
now,
that-
go
Okay,
ahead.
go ahead.
Well, I was going to say Bernie is an option. He has a lot of good ideas, but history shows us that what you want to do necessarily might not be when you end up doing, because you run into obstacles, whether it be Congress or Supreme Court, lawsuits.
But do you think Bernie could spearhead this new
I think he already is.
new House of Reps coming in and new senators where they're like, yeah, socialism, or yeah, like, let's not put people in hundreds of $1,000s of debt just for pursuing a degree and trying to better society.
Well, I think he can spearhead it, but I'm a big believer in self-responsibility. For example, I'll give you the energy industry right now. For years, I've been up in arms about big oil. I think petroleum is an obsolete technology. With the kind of stuff that we have out there, but because of big money interest, it has lagged for a long time. Right now, you have people like individuals putting solar panels on their homes. You have people buying electric cars. You have companies starting to invest in fields of solar panels and salt. I forgot what to call molten salt reactors. There's a whole bunch of technologies out there that are being invested by the private sector. In other words, we're not waiting for government to do it. People are spearheading it.
Yeah.
So whatever you want, you have like Gandhi said, you have to be the change you want to see in the world. If you believe in something, start doing it. And you may be the only one, but little by little, somebody's going to see you and say, "Hey, I like what he's doing. Maybe I should start doing that too." And it's exponentially contagious. Little by little, it'll start blowing
to
up.
build off of that, I mean, the government cut NASA's funding completely.
Yes.
Right?
Just
NASA is inoperable.
Pretty much.
And to build off what you're saying, Elon Musk built private fucking NASA through SpaceX.
Amen to that.
He
Jeff Bezos
privatized
made one
NASA. He's just going to show if the government won't step in and do it, private citizens will do it themselves.
I agree.
To build off of what you were saying before with the whole Trump thing, I think one of the surprising benefits of his presidency was showing the American public that there is no deep state. No one's behind the scenes pulling the strings of the president. The president, as we've seen, sometimes has unfettered access to power beyond anyone's comprehension. And I think with that being said, it's going to mobilize a lot of people to vote in this next election who might not necessarily vote the way we want them to.
Correct. I agree.
Any final statements? We're gonna have to wrap up soon. It was been a great session.
This was fun.
I
Yeah,
agree,
it was.
man. It
I-
was dope.
I
We
really
had no
enjoyed this.
outline. It
Yeah.
was very organic, and I really enjoyed this time, whether people watch it or not.
You're gonna
Like,
have to invite me back.
you guys are welcome whenever. To be honest, anytime you guys
Awesome.
want. I'll be here every week.
Every week?
Every week.
Well, I look forward to eventually seeing the comments of future listeners and
No,
what
for
they have to
sure,
say.
for
So we
sure.
start
How
How
can
responding to
people
that.
access this when?
I'm gonna put it out on YouTube.
Okay.
And I'm gonna see other platforms. I'm gonna see because
I'm gonna help you get everything set up because I'm already set up with my podcast
Yeah,
on
yeah.
YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, Apple
Yeah,
Podcasts.
please,
So
please.
basically, by the time this is accessible to the public, there'll be some ways for them to
to contact
respond.
us and give us some feedback, and we'll gladly like to discuss any topics that you guys have in mind, and we're gonna take it from there, man.
Well, look forward to hearing from all of you guys out there.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been a pleasure.
It really has.
Take care,
All
guys.
right, see you on the other side.
Blessings to everyone.